fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do in no money, what they at you, in no at you. Covid money, miss away in the yellow rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste a must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but they got in a figure you. Take the spit of money, got and say that is not you. One day the man above end up him, I got a bet too much. It in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption peace.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in a whatever. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start and thief for themselves.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the jerk man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the soul man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Yeah.
Boom! I mean, I say a couple to the flex they represent for Wayne Global TV. So I say, you know the code in the Wayne Global TV is what fully blessed on 90 days. So I say, yeah man, to the fullest. Yeah man, make sure them log in to Wayne Global TV. So I say, check it out. So I say, one cup of flex. So I say, Wayne Global. When you watch you know, see them a plan up and a try to put them on on we head. But man a live too long, them want Wayne Global fitted. To him juggle so smooth that them want him life for dread. I through the bank I like the break, but we ain't all about the bread. We open up in the ears and no listen when we said, cause we lyrics them so smooth like the linen on the bed. Them one with a fall, we living on the edge, I must say true, make this them. We ain't Global TV, we are 90. Hey. And 90, who Jaja bless, say no man can curse. Give it the Range Rover, who no drive yours. Boom! We in Global TV to the fullest one cup of excellence. See me?
Good morning. I have finished my innings. Not out, he said. And I'm leaving the stadium. What Nigel Clark failed to tell us, though, which batsman is it which will be taken over from Nigel Clark? Or the game stop right there on Nigel Clark? Because you said you're not even going into the pavilion. You're leaving the stadium. Not out, you said, Nigel Clark. Fail to say who, though, will be taking over from Nigel Clark. Good morning and welcome to the Global Television Group. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We're going to play a game this morning of who it is, or will it be, rather. So, I'm going to have to engage this morning. Whoever it is, though, based on where we are, and that the Prime Minister is unable to announce a replacement for Nigel, then the guess and spell game continues. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, via subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning to everyone on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. Good morning and welcome, Waydon, David Jervis, TV. Good morning, Real Sweet. Violet Watson, Beat and Teach. Patricia Matthews, how you doing? Good morning, Jason Kane, Michael Nipper, Karen Nemard, Jason Kane, Sophia Hall, Verna Adams, Marcia Thomas. Good morning. Well, anything can play in a Beat and Teach. It's not about qualification now. Did you hear Andrew? Many men, oh, which debt upon me. Could it be that you're talking about Christopher Tufton or Darrell Vaz, Andrew Holness? Oh, said many men, he said, wish debt upon me. I wonder who want to take out our Prime Minister. Cousin Myrna, how are you? Joan Bailey, good morning. Who want to take out our Prime Minister? Because our Prime Minister says many men wish death upon him. I wonder if that could have anything to do with Darrell Vaz, Prime Minister, because it wouldn't have been the first, would it? Those many men who are wishing death upon you, Andrew Holness. I wonder who they are. Head teacher K, how you do? Would you give you a shout out yesterday in our 1-year anniversary? Yesterday morning. Many men, the Prime Minister says, wish death upon him. So we're going to play a game this morning of who will it be? But whoever, though, you must keep in mind, it will be under the direction of Alok Jean. So therefore, one could argue Alok Jean, not a member of the Senate, not a member of the House of Representatives, but an advisor to the Prime Minister who will be running the Ministry of Finance as stealth. Many men wish death upon me, he said. I have bat my innings. Not out, Nigel Clark said, but who will be replacing you, though, Nigel Clark, is what would be more important to Jamaica, not how glorious and rosy Nigel Clark is leaving the country with an economic shadow and a bankrupt country, a decrepit health care. But Nigel Clark said, I have bat my innings. And I'm not out, but I'm leaving the stadium. I'm not going in the pavilion to watch you lot. I'm not going in the pavilion to watch you lot, he said, Abena Sarkodie, Sharon Bernard, Rosemary Samuels, Angela 48349. But Nigel Clark Kenroy cannot tell us. TikTok, me can't bother with you. Because I tell me some live restricted for 10 minutes. I don't know why I talk about TikTok. I don't know what me say for you restrict me. That's why I can't bother with over here. Because I have to duck and dive under the radar of these things when I understand how we talk and what we are talking about. I can't bother with you now. Really can't be bothered. Anyway, let's continue. If TikTok wants to play his game over there, so be it. A finance minister who is known to be a creme de la creme finance minister is leaving tomorrow. The country is still yet to hear who is going to take on the very important post of the finance ministry of Jamaica. Your country cannot run without a finance minister. It is even more daunting that your country would be run by a minister of finance who've got no experience within finance, economy, or within that portfolio. What could be stopping the Prime Minister from naming Nigel Clark replacement? Have Nigel Clark done a proper handover in the last 4 weeks or so to whoever will take over from Nigel Clark? Why the finance ministry is so private? Why it? Because it's our finance ministry, you know. And Andrew Holness is duck and diving in telling us who will replace Nigel Clark. Because for all we know and for all everybody know, Andrew Holness could become the next finance minister of Jamaica. Will the country left hanging when Nigel Clark will go tomorrow, or is it Wednesday? Tomorrow or Wednesday, sorry. Tomorrow or Thursday, whichever one, 30 or 31st. But is it not important enough as a position in our government that the Prime Minister ought to come to the country and let the country know if he's experiencing a problem, explain to the country what his decisions are and how he will replace Nigel? This is a duck and diving and dodging, people. This is not just a little simple post in government. This is the Ministry of Finance, which is responsible for the budget of the country, which is responsible for the appropriations account of all departments, which Nigel Clark hasn't collected, but Nigel Clark said him complete him innings not out. He will be in Parliament today. So if he's in a Parliament today, it would have been today or tomorrow would have been Nigel last day. Nigel is still at the 31st or the 30th, he got IMF. One of them. However, regardless, a month ago, once Nigel Clark received him contract from IMF, there should be that replacement taking over from Andrew Holness. Now, can you run the Jamaica Finance Ministry by stealth? Because if Andrew Holness or Juliet or the little boy from London or the thief in Mexico and we go to Mexico go pick up the whole heap of room for sales, money, Darrell, vase, Flight Green or any dunce you can think of at this moment, Andrew can pick up any dunce put anywhere. It's not about qualification anymore. It's not about experience anymore. It's about keeping the seat warm. That's what it is about. So whoever come there under direction of Alak Jean, even though there's a ministerial face there, it's unconstitutional because I don't them run the department. Alak Jean should be a technocrat or will be a technocrat. He will be the minister by stealth. I think that Kanjo wants himself or Juliet to be the next finance minister. That would be a rumpus and a ruckus, Ransford McLean. But if it is, while none out of the two don't have the experience, because Andrew thinks that because Juliet is an accountant is okay to run the Ministry of Finance. But with John experience and for the time him advise Andrew, it looked like he is the safe pair of hands that them are going to stand up in front and allow him to run the ministry by stealth. Me hear Mark Golden and the media, them and this and that are asked since the last 2 days who are going to replace Nigel. We have been asking forever. That's how important it is to us. We have been asking forever. We want to know forever. The fact that Nigel have a couple hours to go and now we want to ask who are going to replace Nigel. We have been asking long time because you know why? Because we know of a handover process in any employment spheres, especially one as major as your finance ministry. Given that we don't have money problem, and when we have money problem, Andrew Holness and Juliet chop so much. And now that we realize, say, money ain't our problem. We have enough money to do what we want to do. It's more about we don't really care about you know. We don't really think we don't deserve it. That's why Dr. Tufton is left to take down the health care. But we don't know here what the Labour Party said. The Labour Party signed them destruction. Because them say Andrew Holness is nominated unopposed as the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. What that means, they are saying to us that they are comfortable going into the next general election with Andrew Holness because Andrew Holness is a vote winner. Andrew Holness, what the Jamaica Labour Party is indicating, can win and will win a third term. So that's why them say Andrew Holness, unopposed, is nominated as leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. The crisis, though, is the Ministry of Finance. Because if Nigel Clark, who was so experienced, has done so terribly bad, we have no idea where the new finance minister will be coming from. No idea. And Andrew Holness thinks that this is an acceptable way to run a country where you duck and dive the voters, the real government of the country. You duck and dive all of us. And then you want to come pronounce sudden Panwe tomorrow, today, or Thursday, who will take over from Nigel Clark? That's not how a country is run. It means that you have a government of squalor, you have a party of squalor. You didn't see it fit that someone else within the House of Representatives hold on now. Sorry about that, Prof. Gorgeous lady. Sorry about that. I thought so with you. So, Andrew Holness doesn't see the Ministry of Finance that important. If he did, he would have, from the lot amongst them choose a replacement that Nigel Clark can give a proper handover to. That has not been done. Or if it has been done, it's been done in the shadows, handing over to Alak Jean, which cannot be the finance minister even if Andrew puts him in the Senate. Because the finance minister, veteran Wagwan, the finance minister must come from the House of Representatives. It seems like if everybody in our House of Representatives are dunce like Wayne, we can't count past 10. That's why Andrew cannot find anybody, none whatsoever, to replace Nigel Clark. This is scary for the country. Prime Minister, what about the killing where the police killed the young man them pan your territory there last night? I was yesterday or when? What going Prime Minister pan Olympic way? The finance ministry, it is suggesting that something is wrong. Andrew cannot find a replacement. Therefore, Andrew is taking another ministry into his office. Andrew Holness, who is in a swelter of confusion when it comes to his finances with the Integrity Commission in front of the court. How fair would it be for such person with so much cloud over their head when it comes to do with money becoming the Ministry of Finance? Either him or his wife becoming the Minister of Finance. There's a cloud hanging over that family. It wouldn't be ethical for anybody within that family to take over the Ministry of Finance. Gito, any thief within your government, you can want to Rhoda. Want to Rhoda, give Rhoda a position. Rhoda can become the Minister of Finance. After all, it doesn't matter who is, because nobody not have the experience to. Whoever you put there, Alak Jean still go direct the Ministry of Finance. A technocrat, Prime Minister. A bureaucrat. A bureaucrat is the Ministry of Finance. Tell me if that make a lot of sense to you, Prime Minister. If it wasn't failure, if it wasn't your failed leadership, Prime Minister, I'm sure you could have picked from a multitude of MPs you have to replace Nigel Clark. The fact that you're taking it right down to the wire, we might even have the country left hanging for days without a finance minister announced to replace Nigel. But how sad it is though, and isn't this a massive failure? After more than a month of knowing that Nigel Clark is leaving, and take it right down to the wire, you still is unable to name Nigel Clark replacement. This summons seriousness to the people of Jamaica that we have inexperienced people running the country. It's not that you have a slim majority in Parliament, you have an overwhelming majority. And within that overwhelming majority, you cannot find a thingy rather a replacement for Nigel Clark, but let me see if I have that slide here still, because I want to ask the people, the Jamaica Labour Party, a question. Something gonna stop run up and play with me now. That's what I want you stay for crying out loud. Candace on a hooligan. What happened to this hooligan? Oh God. Stop jumping up and down. Just stay there. All right? Right. No. The Jamaica Labour Party is saying that Andrew Holness is nominated unopposed to continue as leader for the Jamaica Labour Party. Now, this last set of polls that came out, even if you are to read it within the margin of error, Mark Golden is at least 6 points to 7 points ahead of Anjo, reading it within the margin of a 2%, 3% error. Even if you're reading it on the margin of error in the negative, where you're -2 after the R3, after the 39% with the People's National Party are lead by, they'll be leading Anjo by a 6%, even if you leave Anjo outside the margin of error and settle upon him 30%. Now, everything that Andrew Holness has done recently since this year, since the local government election, is cascading from one disaster to the other. The Prime Minister's statutory declaration is a gaping wound in the governance of the Labour Party. There are still 7 more of such investigation to come. The Labour Party likability and electability will even drop lower under the leadership of Andrew Holness, given how he's sliding into disaster continuously. That 30% which you're on is not going to rise, especially not with Andrew Holness. You're always going to continue to go in the negative. The more scandal come and the more the country realize that lies after lies are being told to them. So I don't know how to pluck it up. The boy, the whole party have to work with Andrew, you know. Better not there. Andrew is the one that will take us to the general election and secure a victory for the 3rd term for the Jamaica Labour Party. It's what they're saying, you know, even with this latest poll that came out. And when you look at the not sure people, we're not sure who them want to vote for. Those people, the more scandal break against Andrew Holness and the Labour Party, those people within that 20% of undecided voters is more likely to flip away from where the disaster continue to unfold. So I don't know how wanna dream it up in our head. Say Andrew is somebody are the best among the bunch to lead the Labour Party into a next election. That means me understand, Fauno, that you all have signaled the crumbling of the party. You all are signaling the destruction of the party. Because where Andrew Holness likability is across the nation, and how public service, because that's one of the things that you need to use to measure when no matter what lie a government tells, it's not coming through to the people. When you see those in the public service resort to protest, which under this current Andrew Holness leadership over the last 4 years or so, there have been failure after failure will keep chipping away at the popularity of the party. So it means to say them ready to sign them warrant for whatever happen, because Andrew Holness cannot win another election. Josima, thank you. Thank you for joining. But this same Andrew Holness, what them say, them quite comfortable with the Ekron sound system. Massey agree. It's the same Andrew Holness that is likely to become the Minister of Finance for the country. The same Andrew Holness were in a court a fight to struck out the corruption prevention. The same Andrew which is withholding documents from the Integrity Commission. That Andrew Holness, don't you think he will prevent audit of the Ministry of Finance if Andrew or his wife becomes the next finance minister for the country? Jamaica is in a very dangerous place. When a country cannot find a qualified finance minister, the country is in a dangerous place. The country is in a rocky place. It cannot be good for the country's economy if there's an unstable hands on the country's economy. It's not good for the confidence of investors if there's a novice there or if there's a money hawk there who is only there for selfish reasons. Norman Wagwan. It don't look good for the country. It doesn't look good for Jamaica. The most important post after the Prime Minister in the cabinet is the treasurer. No other department can function without a good finance ministry. Because your finance ministry have to provide the budget for the functionality of all the other departments of government. Your finance ministry have to have their hands on the country's books. Your finance ministry is responsible for the appropriations account from all the other ministries. There's a lot. And when people talk about the public service, we're just talking about their responsibility within the ministry. The public sector pay review, has it been completed? Can I just say, him a leave not out, you know? It means, say, him bat very well. Nigel Clark say him leaving not out. Means say Nigel Clark bat very well. But in that great batting, Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness fail to provide assistance. And even done when Nigel Clark had take up the country's money, give Norman done. They forgot totally that the drainage system in Anata Bay outside Anata Bay Hospital needs urgent attention. Something which is German bacteria infested outside of a hospital, a looming public health disaster, mosquito breeding that can cause dengue and malaria. But even though Nigel bat not out and he has done so well, them fail to fix a simple problem, Elga Fletcher, outside Anata Bay Hospital.
With a Anata Bay Hospital entrance. And look what I want Anata Bay. Look what I want. When the rain fall, the nurses, the doctors, and the workers, them can't get to come out and go to the hospital. Look here. Because the water block up on the road. And it's going for years. It's going for years, people. Look here. And a film management. Look here. Because of the accident, look why. Look for the water where they are going on the road. Look what I want, sir. And you want to tell me, sir, we have an incompetent leadership. Look here, sir. The one hospital. Look here, sir. Look on the entrance. We have an incompetent MP. I run for the town. Look here. And it's going for years. The nurse and the doctor then can't get to come out and go to work. Eh? A pit water. And furthermore, you do a shit water, you know. About the fact I walk night to come on to see what go on. A shit water, you know. We have shit water, not a beer. That's Southeast St. Mary. See, me walk night to the city. We have shit water. And flood the road with the rainwater. And the hospital. So if the nurse and doctor then come out, figure out work out of the taxi or whatever, who not drive, then get screwed. Because shit water, you know, see it, the sewage water run by the road. See it here? The sewage water run by the road at hospital. Because we have an incompetent NP run. See it here? Shit water. I come from the hospital and them now fix it. That's what you're talking about. You see it here? See it where I say here? The shit water run come round by the road, I come round so. You feel me? So, if anybody come to the hospital, then can't come to the hospital. They have to walk through the shit water and come to the hospital. That's how we are talking about, you know. So you can fight me and do all I want to do. But me talk and report what me see go on in my talk. I love that to be, you know. You have a born and grew up. But the arms house need to stop, brother. We need a sewage thing to get the shit water off of the road with the rainwater so people can get the pass. This is going on for years, you know, look here. This is going on for years. The bad luck here, not to be a people them. They left for brother and gone. See it here? Look here. That's what we are talking about. You see it? Shit water mixed with rainwater. I come up at the hospital. And the nurse and the doctor them can't go to work unless they drive vehicle. And the vehicle shut off in the water as well. That's going out there. That's what we are talking about. We need a better government. We need to change the government we need. I'm not care about the one for the dogs, you know. You feel me? I tell you what happened right now. See it here? And this problem can fix long time and they don't fix it. The body don't care about we, brother. All they care about line in pocket. Alright? We need a changes, brother. Alright?
All Norman Dunn cares about is lying in his pocket. Norman Dunn does not give a care about the people of Southeast St. Mary. Because when Norman Dunn was aware that the ministry, that the tax administration of Jamaica was looking for building, what Norman Dunn did tell Nigel, hold on, you know one building there. Uno don't buy it, tax administration don't buy it, make me buy it. Then me will rent it back to Uno, me will rent couple of the back room to Uno, and me will run mothers pan the front and pharmacy or anything me want to run pan the front. All Norman Dunn is doing is stuffing his pocket. Norman Dunn don't have nothing to do with the people of Southeast rather, St. Mary. All Norman Dunn care about is lining in pocket and sucking enough out of the country's coffer. Millions, Norman Dunn, get out of our pocket for an empty building. Millions of it. But there's a drainage system outside the Anatomy Hospital, a germ infestation outside the Anatomy Hospital. Neither Norman Dunn, the MP, neither Christopherson, the Minister of Health, neither Andrew Holness, the Minister of the National Works Agency. None of them is aware of what is going on outside Anatomy Hospital. Nurses and doctors of Anatomy Hospital must go restive until this problem is sorted. Make the full of money country where we not broke. Them send all the heavy lifting and all the apparatus come down there, come clear the drain so the infestation can leave from in front of the hospital and can have road to drive and walk on rather than a swim through shit a morning time and evening time. Nigel Clark claims that he has done so well. When a batsman bat and not out, that's an excellent batsman. You couldn't out him. Him hit all the runs and protect all him wickets. That's what Nigel Clark is saying. But look at the country. Look at this Finsack debacle where you choke on with before you go with Nigel Clark. Even though you have a lot to hide in the Finsack, the audit, the forensic audits, did you release them? What happened to them? Did the Finsack Commission prepare a report that you are withholding from the public, Nigel Clark? The SSL scandal, Nigel Clark, we still not understand where how it is, who is responsible, and if the people them will get robbed by SSL, get back their money, or I go get back their money. So how then you go walk and tell we say, you bat all of your runs and you leave in not out. When one of the biggest financial scandal happened under your watch, Nigel Clark. The report by Mr. McFarlane was sent to your office, Nigel Clark. You lied about the report. It's not that you weren't aware. You were aware because it was within around that time Andrew Holness got the insider information to wind down his dealings with SSL and him get back his money. And then SSL goes crush, rob up the people their money, and then you come out and say you weren't aware of this or that. Mr. McFarlane come out and say, no, I have sent you the report. So Nigel Clark go up on him knee and him creep round and him take hook stick and him draw and him dig out until him find the report. Dust after dust and the cobweb. Nigel say, oh, backside. It did there, but somehow it missed me. A report like that have to be signed for and delivered. Them have to sign so them get it. But this is how them lied to the public blatantly, just like how Christopher Tufton in the unfolding health debacle come out with Evelyn and tell one hope a lie pan Geddes refrigeration. And Mr. Lafayette have to come out and clear up the story and say, not so, Christopton. And after you listen, Chris Tufton and Dane Lafayette, Dr. Robert Brady's story back up Geddes refrigeration story.
That Geddes Refrigeration Limited was terminated from its contract under the Program for the Reduction of Maternal and Child Mortality PROMAC at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. The minister said Geddes was replaced by CAC, another company, which he said had been relieved of their duties under a similar project at the Children's Hospital.
Victoria Jubilee Hospital has a maternal intensive care unit under the PROMAC system. That's the one of all of them that's not working. Why? Because of central air conditioning system. For 2 years, Geddes Refrigeration has been given the job, task, to repair or to put in that central system. Am I wrong? This is the regional director. 2 years. System can't fix. Not a lack of money, not a lack of decision, can't fix. We fired them, and CAC, what I was fired here, has now been hired. A lot of options. I ask you the question, where does the burden lie? And at what point are we going to call out some of these things? The conversation is that the hospital and health system is incompetent because you have an operating theater that's not working because the AC is down.
Dr. Tufton's comments seem to shift the blame for the stalled surgical operations as a result of non-functioning air-conditioned units to the private contractors. But Dane Lafayette isn't having it. He tells Nationwide News that his company successfully installed the units at VJH in the 2020 to 21 period. He says the units operated efficiently for over a year without issues, despite not having performed any maintenance services. He says his company repeatedly submitted maintenance proposals to the ministry, but was never formally engaged to carry out repairs or maintenance on the unit in question.
As far as I know, since we have installed the equipment, Geddes Refrigeration Limited has never been engaged for maintenance services, despite repeatedly sending the maintenance proposals or having meeting with the team of Southeast Regional Authority. As far as I know, we have never been formally engaged to execute any repair, and we are unable to restore any unit to operation that it has reached the position that we were fired or terminated. Everyone in my organization understands the importance of hospital services. If there's a report of equipment not operating or functioning properly, my team responds within 3 hours or less. The assessment is carried out, the necessary costing to effect the repairs is provided to the region, and we cannot effect the repairs if we are not engaged or formally instructed to.
Lafayette notes that the only problem ever reported involved a temporary cooling failure, which he said was promptly resolved. Referencing work on other units over the years, Lafayette says on the occasions his company was engaged to carry out repairs, it found the units to be in poor condition.
Over the years, I've had repeated meetings with the region, advising them of the need to maintain the equipment, because each time we're called, the equipment is in a despicable state. That's the only word I could use to describe it. And it should be noted, that in many instances, when we're finally engaged after a period of weeks or months, the state in which we left the equipment after we assessed it for repairs is not the same. The unit is either scrapped or we find that other people have been working on the equipment. And this has always been communicated to the respective personnel. So it's just quite concerning to hear the minister's pronouncement on radio. It's always important for the minister or anyone to listen to their team members, but it's also important to listen to your service providers as well, and also make an effort to bridge the gap.
Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
So that was a blatant lie from Dr. Tufton, because then Lafayette came out and refute Dr. Tufton lies. Dr. Tufton never come back out and say a lie, then a tell or whatever. Dr. Tufton went straight on to blaming the healthcare workers. If you have not watched Dr. Dawes' press conference yesterday, we replayed Dr. Dawes' press conference in last night's show. If you have not heard of the debacle unfolding in our healthcare, and you have not watched that press conference, please watch the show we did last night, because if you did not watch Dr. Dawes' press conference, it was replayed, and he outlined the derelict collapse across our healthcare system. Right across the healthcare is falling down. The doctors who are protesting are saying there's an infrastructure failure across the entire country. But Dr. Brady's statement also backs that up, which is what caused this debacle to be unfolding, because Andrew Holness and Chris Tufton and the ministry was aware. They had a 2 months communication with Dr. Brady before he came to Jamaica, the air condition situation. Them send no money at the problem. Them have money from Chase Fund to renovate the theater. While them have an adequate budget within the Ministry of Health. And Dr. Tufton allowed Dr. Brady to come to Jamaica and was unable to even do the amount of surgery that Dr. Brady would have done per trip.
Amazing people here at this hospital, the doctors, the nurses, the physicians, the residents, and we take great care of these kids. But there are some clear infrastructure issues here. Okay, I've been coming here for 20 years. There's some very clear infrastructure issues that need to be solved. You know, I made a request 2 months ago when we heard the air conditioning issues. I said we need to fix it, or you need to make accommodations somewhere else. Now the fact that they want to make accommodations, make the decision today to do it tomorrow, that's not right. That's not right for the patients. You know, and my request was ignored. So I think that if you know, this is the only children's hospital currently on the hospital in the island. We're probably the most technologically advanced Caribbean island in healthcare-wise. We have to be the gold standard. Our hospitals have to be the gold standard, and we have to. People come from other islands so we can take care of their children because we know that our healthcare system is good, and we have to maintain that. And so we have to go through the hospitals, make sure you're absolutely correct. The autoclave systems are working. You know, we can only do single instruments now. That's an issue. The air conditionings have to work, and we understand this is an old hospital. There's other things that we need to do to fix it, but these need to be addressed and fixed, and the money needs to go into helping these children. And I come here twice a year. I bring a whole team. We donate thousands of dollars of equipment because we want to help these people, and you guys have to put the infrastructure.
Right. All of this is happening when we have when we are told that we have one of the best finance minister Jamaica have ever had since independence. We've also been told by the Minister of Health that budget is not an issue. Failure then, incompetency have to be the issue. Mismanagement have to be the issue. Because if it's not money, and it's going on for so long, and you can't get it right, this problem at Bustamante Theatre has been going on for quite some time. About 2 years. Not just now galangin, but a well-budgeted department with a so-called performing minister is unable to bring that situation under control. Imagine all of this is happening when we had a safe pair of hands at the Ministry of Finance. Imagine what will happen now that anyone and anything can run the Ministry of Finance. I wonder what's going to be our problem after the great batsman that Nigel Clark claimed he is. I wonder what will happen next. Because the country is in a limbo at the moment, you know. The country is in a limbo as to who will take this very important position. The person that everybody is pitching is Andrew Holness. Because Andrew Holness has the power to fire and hire for cabinet positions. If Andrew Holness continuously fail to name Nigel Clark replacement, it's only fair based on how we know Andrew Holness govern, that Andrew Holness is going to take the Ministry of Finance into the office of the Prime Minister. But how though? Because the Ministry of Finance is a portfolio ministry. It's not a ministry where you can just take in at the Prime Minister's office without portfolio. And this confuse me, you know. Because it's not just one of those ministry that you can just run from in the office of the Prime Minister. The Finance Ministry have its own ministry. It's not one of the ministry where hang around in the Prime Minister office. How then, if the Prime Minister becomes the Minister of Finance, or if Juliet becomes the Minister of Finance, but if Juliet becomes the Minister of Finance, then she would be relieved of her speaker job and she would have go over to the ministry, go run the ministry. But if it is Andrew Holness, what that would mean, Alain Jean will be running the Ministry of Finance with Andrew Holness sitting in the Prime Minister office and pretend that the Finance Ministry is run within the ministry, within the Prime Minister office. Today is Parliament. We will be watching. Certainly beat and teach. Today the Parliament important to watch, because if them not announce it in a sitting today, then we expect something at cabinet press briefing tomorrow after the cabinet meet. And when the cabinet meet, Wednesday morning or Tuesday evening, whichever one of them, we're hoping to get that announcement either today or tomorrow. But there is a reason. It's a Jamaica Finance Ministry is an autopilot. I look like I saw it go Rennie Nicholson. Autopilot galang in. Because would I like to see Andrew take that big old ministry, because the Ministry of Finance and Public Service is quite a big ministry, you know. It's not a ministry where you can run out a folder and file in cabinet like the whole heap of ministry where Andrew have over the Prime Minister office in a filing cabinet. I want to see how it's going to work if it's Andrew. No June Plum 26, because one observer article said the Jamaica Labour Party nominate Andrew Holness unopposed to continue to lead the Jamaica Labour Party. So everyone they said them happy with Andrew because Andrew Holness can secure a third term for the party. Given that one of the illicit MP, which is the Prime Minister, released and it caused so much debacle, me don't know if the other 7 come forward when the Prime Minister is 6 to 9 points behind in the polls already. I really don't know how it's gonna fear off well for the Prime Minister as these illicit enrichment investigation comes along the way. Or maybe them are gonna use court, them are gonna use court application to block it. But uno can go on block questions in a parliament and all of that something there. You are being tried by public opinion. And that public opinion trial is translated into votes or translating in the withdrawal of votes. So, uno so not happy if we continue with him. All right, continue with him. We would rather him go, but uno say uno continue with him. The more, the merrier. Because the longer uno keep him, is the more destructive it is for the Jamaica Labour Party. And the illicit 7 not come yet. Illicit 1 caused so much a problem. And then we still await for illicit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just illicit 1 shed off so much off of the party. And we not hear about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yet. Imagine when 2 to 8 come. Then to post and say, whoever you put in the Ministry of Finance, them are one of them who under the illicit probe as well. It not look good for the country management wise, It certainly doesn't look good for the country management wise. Andrew cannot name a Minister of Finance replacement. The more likely pick as the trajectory points, it will be Andrew Holness possibly becomes the Minister of Finance under the direction of a technocrat, Alak Jean, which will be running the ministry by stealth. And the Prime Minister take on one more post. I don't know how Andrew Holness one can manage so much thing. I don't know how, but the Prime Minister managed to run so much agencies and department from out of him office. And it looked like the Prime Minister is about to take another office of government into his portfolio. The Ministry of Finance in Andrew's portfolio is a disgraceful thing. It would be if Andrew appoint himself as Minister of Finance while in front of the court fighting to struck down the Corruption Prevention Act. It would be a woeful thing. It would be a woeful thing. How Miss Ellis would have get for the audit over the Ministry of Finance when we know that Andrew Holness hold back on everything. A man who is in tatters with the integrity body over his finances cannot become the Ministry of Finance for our country. And you just have to pick another dunce and make the other dunce go sit down over there on one bench and Alak Jean do the job. Because whoever Andrew pick at this point, Alak Jean will be running the Ministry of Finance by stealth. Because what it has pointed out to us is that the Prime Minister's inability to name a Minister of Finance once Nigel Clark announced he was going to the IMF. So Nigel Clark can give a handover to whoever was taking over from Nigel Clark. That alone shows a failure. Nigel Clark is going tomorrow, the 30th or the 31st. By Thursday, the latest, Nigel is gone. The country is yet to hear who will be the next finance minister for Jamaica. This is not a joke. This is a serious issue. If you don't get the finance minister right, you won't get any other thing right. because the finance ministry have to budget for the rest of the country. So if somebody were in the finance ministry just did a dash way so, or a thief so, or a hole and punish so, the country is going to have less and less to spend. Even when I say the country don't have no money problem and we still can't see the spending, because the country need hospital and the IMF telling us say, walk and build plane all over Wowo yonder. We don't need hospital. The IMF and World Bank telling us say, the loan where them are going of a baptize up waterfront and pretty it up for white people. It's not any none of these investment is not about Jamaicans. It's not about the well-being of Jamaicans. It's always about pretty it up for tourists. Because how much a million where you sign for take from the World Bank, where they Nigel for develop waterfront before you leave. It now go benefit Jamaicans. Anything we have to do with international investor and tourism, Jamaica benefit diddly squat out of it. Because all of the money earned off of tourism go out of the country. And the lesser part of the earnings of tourism Jamaica get out of. If he could avoid appointing minister, he would have done it. The country has its private business. Shock boss, me not understand where this is going, because this haphazard person where Andrew are gonna name Tui whenever him feel like name is more likely what Andrew Holness always does. Just grab a ministry into his office, and as long as he in an office, him don't care what else happen. Continue to tap up the screen on TikTok, please. Him don't care what happened, because it is quite clear by now that anything Andrew Holness does is about selfish gains, is not about the country. Thingy there is a safe seat. The seat where Nigel a come out is a safe seat. Why you never go make Alak Jean run for that seat and do the by-election for that seat? So then you couldn't have a worthy replacement as the Constitution provide, a minister within the whole an MP within the House of Representatives appointed as the finance minister. Because that's a safe seat, whoever you put in there. But Derek Simit Satuno said, no, me want it for my son. Me no, Nigel Clark done with it now, me want it for my son. So because of that, exactly, Shock Boss. It's all selfishness. Everything where Andrew Holness do, it's all about is selfish gain. It's just about selfish gain. And this is why Andrew Holness I go grab the Ministry of Finance into his office. Because if it wasn't Andrew Holness would have announced to the country which of his minister will be taking over from Nigel. The very fact that Andrew has taken it down to the wire, it means Andrew will just get up and tell we say the Minister of Finance is within the Prime Minister's office. But how could you run the Ministry of Finance, Prime Minister, and run a government which you have so much agencies and department already running? Don't you see, my people? It's a grab for power. Andrew Holland Pan Defense, Andrew Holland Pan National Works Agency, Andrew Holland Pan Constituency Development Fund, and many others. the Electoral Commission, the political ombudsman, Andrew Olanpan, all of them, there's something there. And it looked like him going to take one of the most important position of government into his office, the Ministry of Finance. Mia Motley and Andrew are two thief, you know, I see him with the thief in Mia Motley run the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Defense. As Mia Motley and Andrew is the same devil. Mia Motley, Andrew Holness, and William Ruto is three of the biggest devil amongst us. Three of the biggest political devil amongst us at the moment. William Ruto, Andrew Holness, and Mia Motley. They are the puppet for the devils of the West. So when you don't hear Mia Motley come and robustly speak, Mia Motley a con no. Mia Motley is a con artist just like the rest of them. Mia Motley is only just militant in words. Mia Motley is just militant in words. Andrew Holness promise you everything, and Andrew Holness turn out in a gimmicks, because what Andrew Holness turn around telling us say, Abe, when you sit down and wait for the good economy can nyam. When you see it there, go nyam it. Go and nyam the good economy. And that Jamaica sit down and wait pan, and it never come. And him turn around and tell you it can nyam. This Labour Party regularly take up public money and spend how them want. It's the same way how Dr. Tufton take millions of your money, go sign a deal with racist Frank Hester in order to electronize your health record. Same way Andrew Holness take up on the money and go pay Spain people to come rebrand Jamaica, because the children of the slave take Jamaica and mash it up. So you might go get Spain, who discover we, all when we did exist long before them, come rebrand we.
Brand. Jamaica has to refresh its brand. The brand is probably our most important intangible asset that we have. If you consider what brings people to Jamaica, it is the allure of the brand. Our flag is probably one of the top 5 most recognizable flags in the world. I believe you would look at the United Kingdom, the United States, Brazil, and then Jamaica. That's how powerful our brand is. But we can't just leave it there and believe that the brand is going to always be powerful. It is going to always attract people. We can't just leave it there and believe that the brand is going to evolve and increase its capital without us being proactive and instrumental in determining what the brand means. And what has happened to us over the last 40 years as the brand is evolving is that it has started to mean things that could be detrimental to us. And so we have actually hired an international firm that does branding, driven mainly because the brand drives tourism. So that's a big part of why we have taken this kind of strategic approach to our rebranding. But there are other things that we need to do with our brand as well, which is to preserve the cultural value and the cultural assets that exist in Jamaica. We say we have this large creative industry, but we haven't really managed to monetize it. And we need to be able to properly identify it and define it. And so we're going through this process of rectifying, restructuring, redefining who we are as Jamaicans and what it means to be Jamaican.
Something like the reverse tax credit, never before in Jamaica's history, where the government is giving back to people who earn less than $3 million per year. Never before happened. That's a way in which we are making sure that the dividends of the good economic management reaches to the people. Yes, good economic management can yam.
Beat and teach, you have to remind the people where Andrew promised prosperity and then turn around and tell them, say, them for nyam good economic management. Me know it irritating if you see him on this screen, but we have to remind the people them say after Andrew promised on a prosperity, Andrew always say on for nyam good economic management. The country is in a state. Our country is in a state. And if we don't understand what Andrew mean, when Andrew say him get an international firm for rebrand Jamaica, don't ask me. Don't ask me if you don't understand, because me don't understand neither. Him say over the last 40 years while the brand was evolving this, that, and the other, I do not understand what the Prime Minister is saying. What I do not understand either, if Jamaica is to be rebranded, if you look good on the international scene, or look how the Prime Minister want to look on the international scene. The only advice I can give you, deal with crime, deal with corruption, deal with the lousy bureaucracy, deal with the bad customer service, and pay your public sector worker them a living wage. That's what would boost Jamaica image on the international scene. And once a time you go foreign, we live here. We know how Jamaica is being looked at and how Jamaica is seen internationally. The problem with Jamaica have internationally are corruption, crime, criminal politician aligned with gangs, politician having the country underdeveloped. Those are the bad images of Jamaica abroad. So what you need to do is to get them to tell on how to stop thief, how to stop corrupt, how to stop hide behind the Data Protection Act, how to stop dismantle bodies of accountability, like what you do with the office of the political ombudsman when you draw it in your office. There's a lot of things that you can do, Prime Minister, to improve Jamaica image internationally if you want to rebrand Jamaica. All those, Prime Minister, stop with government. A shambled healthcare, Prime Minister, is one of the bad image of Jamaica internationally. The crime that politicians are involved in, Prime Minister, the drug dealing that politicians are involved in, the importation of illegal firearm that and I'm mere talking to the Prime Minister, WikiLeaks documents say it. All right? The fact that 2 gang members can get unalived in 2 separate cars rented by Babsy Grange, the Minister of Culture and Transgender. I know we are talking. I saw it go. Those are the things, Prime Minister, that makes Jamaica image look terrible internationally. The fact that a prime minister is in court wallowing with the integrity body, a prime minister in court wants to struck out the Corruption Prevention Act, Section 14, subsection 5. Prime minister makes Jamaica look bad on the international scene. So no matter what Christopher Columbus sticking in them, I tell you if you do, what we are asking you to do is to deal with the crime, the corruption, the bad health care, and the bankruptcy where Nigel Clark and SSL, because a long time Hugh Croskery come sue me, Hugh Croskery, a long time another Jamaica thief. The Croskerys, yes, a long time another Jamaica thief, because on a walk away with the whole heap. In the financial collapse of the 90s, billions of it, Hugh Croskery, in your Eagle group, you walk away with. And see how much you thief from poor people, Hugh Croskery. You are all criminal bankers. You're just like the elites of Hollywood, who started out as criminal gangsters and become some of the biggest executives and some of the multi-billionaires in this world, but they all started out of gangsters. Go and research Hollywood and see if there's anything good about Hollywood. They all start as gangsters and amass their wealth and become executive and entrepreneurs and all that. It's no different to SSL. The whole of them are choppers. The whole of them are choppers. Millions. When them are thief, them thieving are millions and billions. Come sue me, Hugh Croskery. But make sure, say, you can't pay back the people them stolen money before you come sue me. Bunch of thieves. Bunch of criminals. Every day you get up and commit crime against poor people. And come ask me for apology. Let me tell you which part to go push your head and search for the apology. You're all a bunch of thieves. You're criminals. Your track record, Hugh Croskery. Your track record shows you're a criminal against the people of Jamaica. A two financial debacle you were involved in. You walk away with billions in the FinSac scandal. And you rob up billions in the SSL scandal. And I don't want we to talk. We talk. We talk because of no thief. And no liar. We know a thief and no liar, so we are going to talk. You're all a bunch of criminals. That's what makes Jamaica look bad internationally. Not we the people who are loved abroad. Not our food, which is loved abroad. Not our island, which people love to visit. Not our dialect, which everybody wants to speak. Not our music and our icon like Bob Marley, who everybody knows and talk about. Icon like Usain Bolt, what the all on a hold on and thieving money. We don't need rebranding. We need on criminal for straighten up on ourselves. Free Gene and Pantan, because if Hugh Croskery not in a prison, Gene and Pantan nothing in there. Gene and Pantan said, I was ordered by my boss to thief. Hugh Croskery, who are Gene and Pantan boss? I was ordered by my boss to cook the books, Gene and Pantan says. But when you're rich and powerful, when a day go come in, you say, P. Diddy Day come, Oprah Day will certainly come. And you high officials in Jamaica, when a day will certainly come. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton Day will certainly come. Barack Obama Day will certainly come. When a day will come. You see, just like how if P. Diddy Day come, when a day will come, because we can't continue to steal we, abuse we, and suck with blood and with resources day and night. On a day I go come. Naomi Campbell, your day I go come. Andrew Wholeness, your day I go come. The whole of you abusers, on a day I go come. Trust me. And remember, if you have not watched Dr. Da's press conference yesterday, we replayed it in last night's broadcast. It's very important that you watch that press conference. A lot of information came out in that press conference yesterday of the failure, the massive failure within our healthcare, the massive incompetency within our healthcare is important. It is important that you watch that press conference Dr. Dawes did it yesterday on the healthcare. We replayed it last night in last night's broadcast. So if you want to watch it, please do, because a lot of information came out. A lot of abuse of the public purse between the government and these capitalists when it comes to medical equipment. The country purse has been drained, but not to develop our country. Even though Dr. Tufton is telling us we have invested a lot of money in the health infrastructure in Jamaica, the reason why you are not getting adequate care is because the doctors and nurses across the healthcare are not doing their job properly. Christoph and Andrew Holness cannot stay. They need to go. Christoph and Andrew Holness cannot stay. They need to go. Or if the Jamaica Labour Party feels so confident that Andrew Holness will secure a third term, call the election. Call it, Andrew. Call it. Thank you very much for being here with us this morning on the Global Television Group. There is a video that I'm going to premiere on Producer Wayne this afternoon around the drive time London time. It is AI read, but you can follow the reading on screen. What it does, it gives you a breakdown of Andrew Holness's crime from 2000 to now with all of the money wrangle them. Because it's AI read, when it has speak about money, it may confuse you, because when AI is reading, they take decimal point for a full stop. So they read the figures confusing a bit, but you can actually see the figures on the screen because I've done it like that, so you can follow the figures on the screen also. It is important. It gives you that whole breakdown of Andrew from day one to now. So you would want to really keep up with the Prime Minister's crime and money worries. You know why? It looks ever more likely that this criminal of a Prime Minister will become the next finance minister for Jamaica, running in the background by stealth, by Alak Jean, the front man on the screen, which will front our Ministry of Finance, whoever the Prime Minister gives it to, because what has been exposed that the Prime Minister have a pack of dunce roaming around the party that is not experienced to take a post in government. Thank you very much for being here this morning. It's lovely to have your support. Remember to watch that premiere at 6 o'clock this evening. I think that will be, 11 a.m. your time. But I don't know how it goes. It's going to be premiered in the Drive Time London slot. And that gives a breakdown of all of Andrew Holness' crime from then. Sharon Powell, how are you? From around 2000 right up to what's you call it, to the current debacle that is going on with his finances. The article, well, the writing was done by Zara Burton, but I use AI to read the article. But you will be able to follow it and understand it because it have a lot of information that we must remember if Andrew becomes our finance minister, why we will be telling him you're not qualified or competent or ethical to do so. Thank you very much for being here this morning. It was lovely to have your support. Good afternoon and good morning from the Global Television Group, wherever you have joined from. Thank you very much and good afternoon from the Global Television Group.